I have 2 young children and a business that generates over $100,000 a month. In this video, I want to walk you through how I manage to juggle everything from family time to managing a demanding business. A little backstory is that I was actually pregnant when I started my current business. So from day one, I have been a mom and a business owner while growing this from 0 to 6-figure months. So my goal has always been able to create a life where I can thrive as a parent and also as a business owner. And the first thing that I would say that has been crucial in making this all work has been that I have needed to come up with a bigger purpose for the work that I'm doing, because the work that I'm doing is taking time away from my kids, and of course I need to know why am I working so hard, like what is the bigger why and the reason I'm taking this time off from my kids. And for myself, the goal has always been to create this bigger impact and greater life that for myself, but also for my family. And not just that, because I also have always felt this huge drive to create something bigger that impacts also people all around the world. And that has been the goal. And I've shared this goal with my family and with others on my social media, for example. And that is a reason what actually has been enabled me to get A players to my team, because the vision has been always so big that they can see themselves like working for me. And because of this bigger purpose there, I have not needed to feel as guilty as I could when I'm going to work and leaving my kids, for example, with babysitter or taking them to kindergarten, or they are just with my husband. So having that bigger reason why you are doing what you're doing is super important, especially when you are a mom or a parent in business. Because when you are a parent, the money is a means to an end, and it of course makes your life so much easier when you are raising a family and you have the resources to be able to live a nice life. But also it's still like you need to have a bigger and better reason to go and work, because when you're an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of also those long days and sacrificing some family events, for example. For me, knowing that my work provides for my family and builds our bigger future, it makes every sacrifice worth it. So the next thing is I got my partner and my husband to be my teammate. And what I mean by that is not in a typical way, like he is not working for my business, not at all. He has his own full-time typical day job. But what we do as a couple, we live our life and we run our family as we are a business. So everything becomes so much easier when you get your partner to be your teammate in a way where you are planning your life together, and he and everything that you do also supports your life and your efforts in building your business. So for example, when I need to film content like this, he will take the kids out, but also in the smallest little ways where he can be supporting me, and he knows that he will be also benefiting it, because of course when I'm growing the business, like he will be also enjoying all the fruits that of this labor that I have now put in. So knowing that and like actually explaining to your partner that hey, like this is a team work, even though you're not working in my business, like you will be the one benefiting of the success that I'm able to create, not just for me, but for our family and for you. So for example, what this has also been able to enable for us is that my husband was staying at home with our daughters when they were babies, because I was the one working. So this would have not been possible if we both were working in a normal day-to-day job. And also we have been able to move abroad together as a family, and I was the one providing with my remote online coaching business. And of course, like that is a good reason for my husband to support me and not make me feel guilty while I'm working in the business. And the next thing is to have super clear focus. And why focusing is so hard to the most is that you think that okay, well, I will choose what I need to focus on, but what focusing actually means is to saying no to things, not just things that are annoying and you didn't want to do anyways, but to say no also to these opportunities and all these other things that you would like to be doing and the opportunities that you would like to try out, for example. And one way for me to stay focused is to have these milestone goals. So what I mean by that is that instead of thinking that I need to be doing all of these things at once or I need to say no to something forever, I'm actually thinking in a way of like milestones. So I start thinking that, okay, well, I want to do or take on this one opportunity, for example, create a new YouTube channel, but I will not do that before I have hit this other target. And I always have these milestones with me. So for example, I would like to hire a sales manager for my team, but I have set this goal, and actually with the help of my sales like executive coach who is working with me on this, he set milestone for me that once we hit 250k monthly revenue, then I will be able to hire somebody as a sales manager, and that will free up my time so much. And in this way I know that, okay, well, this work that I'm currently doing is not going to last forever because I already see the next milestone that I'm going to be aiming for. Another thing is that I constantly ask myself, could someone else do this for me? And it doesn't need to be anything related to work or the business or the family, but everything, like everything. For example, last year I didn't straighten my hair once because I always went to the hairdresser to just get my hair blow dried and straightened, because it also takes some time, and that time I could spend on working from my phone, for example. And other things that I could be asking myself is to like, do I need to cook or do I need to grocery shopping? Because grocery shopping is something that can take a lot of time from your days and from your weeks, and we have used like these meal delivery companies, and also right now we have full-time household help and babysitting help because our 1-year-old is still at home with her, and she's also cooking our dinners and lunch for us. And also one really practical tip is that almost the whole year last year I ate the same lunch, because I've noticed that having so much on your plate, having the family, having the business, like I hate making decisions. So the less decisions I need to make in my day-to-day life makes it so much easier. So having the same lunch every day is one practical thing that we do, and it started by my husband actually cooking once a week, like meal prepping the lunch for us, and now our housekeeper slash babysitter is the one doing that for us. So we always eat the same lunch, and it makes life so much easier, and also it helps you to stay in shape while you are having a busy season in your life. And also letting go of being perfect and everything for everyone. I definitely think that you should give yourself some grace, like being super kind and nice to yourself, because you are in the middle of the busiest years of your life probably. And well, I think that I definitely am. So letting go of being perfect is really hard for us women who want to control everything, me included, but that has been life-changing when I have been able to let go of that and not be obsessing about like, how do my kids look, like what are they wearing all the time, or like having the priorities straight. So for me, the two things that I'm focusing on is the business growth and building a strong, stable business and having a happy family life with my young family. So those two things, if something isn't directly affecting those two, then I don't need to focus on those things, and I can let go of the feeling of being perfect on them. I've heard this saying that how you do one thing, you do everything. So as a mom and as a business owner, there are a lot of things that I need to say no to, and there are a lot of fun things that I also like to say no to, but I've also come up with some creative ways to being able to enjoy the life and also have some me time in between. And you always need to be thinking that these things that I'm saying no to are enabling me to saying yes to those things that actually are important to me. So for example, this past week I've needed to say no to an invitation to be interviewed in a podcast, and I really enjoy these types of opportunities, but I have needed to really make sure that I stay focused in this season in my business to building the team and giving all the time that I need to my team. So if I have this limited time to work, I can't be taking on podcast interviews because suddenly it can take up to your like half a day when you are preparing yourself, like getting ready for it and traveling to the interview, being at the interview, leaving that interview, and soon it has taken up to like even 4 hours, even though you only like just thought that okay, well, I will take on this, even though you just are thinking that this is a nice little podcast interview that I will be doing. And one practical fun thing that I've come up with, what I do with also my friends who are moms as well, is that we party at daytime. So I know that you can't be really up all night and going to the clubs, like not that I want to even do that anymore, but for me, like we still like to celebrate our life and birthdays, pre-Christmas parties, but we do that at daytime. So then if you are maybe like cheering and getting a glass of champagne, for example, like it doesn't affect you so badly if you are doing it at the daytime, because when you are doing it in the evenings or at night, it will affect your sleep, and your sleep is like the number one thing that you should be prioritizing to manage all of this in this life. And sleep is super important because also I feel like as a mom, I'm always tired anyway, so I can't ruin my nighttime, my sleep. And also I read from Rachel Roger's We Should All Be Millionaires book that we women tend to do all these meta tasks and things in our life that are taking the time out of like our schedules to be there to build our businesses. I also said no to sending Christmas cards, for example, or even getting birthday cards sometimes, because that takes time. So the next thing is that free day is a free day. And I actually didn't do this properly before. And it would be easy to always be like when your baby is having a nap time, like you can do something small in the meanwhile. But actually what I learned from Strategic Coach, a program where I'm attending in London in these workshops, is that like having a free day is actually a free day, and you shouldn't be even thinking about your business. And this is like the hardest thing to do. But what you can do to make sure that you keep your free days as a real free days, you can actually tell your children that, hey, when mommy has a free day, like this means that you can keep mommy accountable and ask her not to work if you see that they are working, or if they are talking about work, like you can mention it to her and she will then stop. And when I actually told my 4-year-old this, she has been a really good accountability coach for me and making sure that when I'm on a free day, like I actually am free and I'm trying to even not think about work. And also what you can't do on your free days is not to listen to business podcasts which can inspire you to create something for your business, for example, or not to read even business related books. You only do things that you want to and which are fun activities and away from the business and work. And I was like thinking that why is this important? And when I was asking this from Peter, who is actually running the workshops in London where I'm attending, and he is an older entrepreneur and gave me this like just this simple answer that, well, you will become a much more interesting person when you have also other things in your life than just your business. And also what he mentioned was that you need the time to rejuvenate, like you need the time for your brain to be cleared of all the noise that there is when you are working. And yeah, I definitely agree with him now after living my life in this way for the past year and taking those free days seriously. And the next thing is that I have actually quit social media, and I have quit social media not in a way that I'm not using it for my business. I actually am. We are really active and I am really active on there and creating content right now. But what I have quit is the scrolling on social media, and that is also, I think that is probably one of the hardest parts, because they have made social media super addictive for us consumers. And I think that for me, being able able to quit that was that I actually deleted most of the apps from my iPhone, and also I set these timers that I can only use Instagram, for example, for 5 minutes and not more than that, and it has helped me to get so much of my time back, because you can spend so many hours mindlessly just scrolling through social media, and nowadays, like, if I'm there to just work, like I'm posting some content, and typically also, like, I've been able to create systems around social media marketing and our content creation so that I don't need to even be the one on the social media app actually posting the content. So quitting social media was actually one of the biggest shifts that gave biggest amount of time to spend with the family or spend to developing my business. And the next thing is building systems is not just for the business, but it's actually great for your life as well. So what we have like done, if we run our family life and our life business with my husband, we have also created these systems to our life. So for example, I noticed that when we were taking a holiday last year, we forgot like half of the things at home. And if you are a parent, you know how it goes. Like, you go out and you notice like, oh my god, like I'm missing all these things. So in order to overcome that and actually not forget all your important things to your home when you're leaving, we have created these task lists and all these, like, okay, when our family is leaving for a holiday, these things need to be packed, and I can just go like check and not think about that over and over again all the time we are leaving somewhere. And also we even have this like our Lehikoinen household manual, so when somebody is coming to help us, for example with the babysitting, we have schedules already written down and documented, and all the other aspects of our household as well. So like, this is how our laundry is done, this is what type of food we want to have in our fridge. So this is a good way, because you might think that getting just somebody to help you at your home is helpful, and of course it is, but it can also be even more frustrating, because you need to be all the time asking like, hey, don't put this here, put it here, or like, we don't do it that way, we like to do it in this way. So having this manual is so much easier. You can just give it to somebody and, hey, this is how we want things to be done, and this is how we run our household and our life, just as I run my business, where we have all these operating systems in place, of course, as well. And another thing how I run our life, just like a business, is also having your to-do list on your calendar. So when you have so many things that you might forget, you tend to put them on a long to-do list. And I also had this time when I had like to-do lists there, and my iPhone notes and my Notion board, my project management tool, and I had all these tasks everywhere, and I still would forget to do things at time and not find the time to do important tasks. So instead of always having all these to-do lists, I put all my to-dos on my calendar, and then I can also see that, well, I can't probably get all these things done in one day because I've already got all these other things on the calendar. And this also makes it so much easier to just go through your week when you can just follow your calendar and what you need to do at any time and hour. So at the end of the day, balancing motherhood and business isn't the easiest thing to do, but it's absolutely possible. And I feel that I have become a much better leader, entrepreneur, and a business owner because of being a mother, because I'm so much more effective. I have limited time resources, and I've become a lot more patient, and I think in long term rather than just in weeks and days. So I definitely think that being a mother isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I really don't think that being a mother is stopping you from achieving huge, massive goals. It's just something that you need to overcome, and I don't think that being a mother or a motherhood is stopping you or me from achieving our goals. Maybe they don't happen in the timeline that we would want it it to happen really fast, but actually it makes our businesses and everything better, I would say, because you need to be able to figure out ways to get things done also when you are not there. So you will actually be creating a business that runs smoothly also without you being there, if you're doing it correctly, of course. But this is like what it enables you to be thinking. And for me, when I was pregnant and first starting this business, I also made the decision that I will never stay alone and just spend hundreds of hours of figuring out things, and I will be actually investing in getting help and also delegating everything that I can so that I can build this huge impactful business at the same time as raising my young family. So I definitely say that I would have not done that if I wasn't a mom. Like, I would still probably be working like 12 hours a day and doing all these crazy things and not being so super focused like I am today, because I am a mom. Because when you are a mom, you can't do everything. And I've actually noticed also that our clients who are mothers are actually the ones who typically get the best results, because they are so limited with their time that they can spend working on their business. So they only take the time to do the most important thing, which is the thing that typically brings in the biggest results. So that is a reason why moms are typically more effective and even getting higher results because of that. Because in order to get results, you don't need to be working hard, you don't need to be working 12-hour days, you need to be working smart, you need to be making the right decisions and having the right people there with you in order to actually achieve big things. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button and subscribe, and see you on the next one.